What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Sporgo. We're going to do something a little bit different today than what I've done before. We're going to be talking about my top 10 favorite Marvel characters in this game. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, Forgo, we already know what your number one is going to be. That's true. And that's why we're going to be excluding all the MCU characters, which means that any character that showed up in the MCU, they're not going to be on this list. Like Spider-Man, like Black Panther, and Thor, right? These are some of my favorite characters. Or Hulk, right? My numero uno, number one. I think it'd be kind of boring to use those characters because everybody kind of would expect that. Iron Man, I mean, they're good. Black Widow, I mean, all these characters are going to be on the top, right? So I thought it'd be fun to do a top 10 without any of the MCU characters, starting with Ghost Rider. He's going to be number 10. I know. And guys, just remember, this is just my opinion of my favorite characters. This isn't like who's the best character or who's the most powerful or who's the strongest or who's the best in the game. We don't care about any of that. This is just my personal opinion about who the characters that I just love the most from the comic books. And at number 10 is Johnny. I've always loved Johnny because he's pretty much like the Walking Dead, right? That's pretty much what he is, you know. Doing the penance stare, making people suffer for all the sins they've done in the past. It's just a dope freaking power, right? Not to mention, whenever he gets overcome by Zeratos, he just pretty much destroys, like nothing can stop him. He's so overly powered, it's not even funny. And I think that's the thing about this character I've always loved in the comics is like, he's just over the top, right? He's over the top, insanely strong, and just cool, right? I mean, the guy rides a bike around that's in flames. He's got a flaming skull, and I'm all about skulls. I love this kind of demonic stuff. I really get into it. I just think the stuff looks really cool. And Johnny's just one of those characters that I really gravitate towards because of that. And going in at number 9. Now, number 9 is, well, this is waifu, my friend. We're getting into waifu action now. Enchantress. I've always loved Enchantress because I just love sorcery and magic. And really, you know, next to Thor, as far as Asgardians go, Enchantress is my girl. Like, I just love this character. I love her big time. All right? Sif was in the MCU, guys. Just remember that. But Enchantress, which really surprised me that she never showed up in the MCU yet. I think that's a crying shame, actually, that they never put her in there. Because this is an amazing character. And she's kind of one of those characters that's not really... I mean, she's a villain, but sometimes she's kind of good. Like, she's kind of a character, and I like her because she's complicated. She's got a complicated story with her, you know, and she's in love with Thor, and she'll do anything for him, even compromise her own evil biddings, right, just for him. And that's pretty cool, man. I really love this character, and she's just beautiful to boot, my friends. Then we get into another waifu, my friends, and it's Emma. And Emma's just a cool character because, I mean, this is a character that really never got the justice she deserved in this game, right? Because she really is one powerful mofo. I mean, she actually had the Phoenix Force at one time in the comics. It isn't like an Elseworld story, but she still had it. I mean, she's just an insane character, right? And, you know, with the mind control and then the fact that she can become pretty much indestructible by literally turning into diamonds, which is just insane. I've always loved Emma. I just think she's such a cool character. And yeah, I don't know. She's just so beautiful and really just so sexy, right? Now, some of you may be surprised by this one right here, Jubilee. Jubilee holds a special place in my heart when it comes to X-Men and really just, you know, Marvel characters, because this is a character that I really just loved back in the X-Men cartoon days. And you might see a few of those characters on this list. Hint, hint. I just always loved her. I loved her personality. I just loved her spunkiness. You know, I loved her relationship with Wolverine in the show. I just thought she was such a cool character. And the fact that she had uncontrollable powers and then she had to go to the Xavier Institute to try to learn how to use them, to conquer that. And because she was actually scared of them. And I don't know. I've always just loved this character. What a great story with her. Then we get into another little waifu, my friends, and that's Storm. Storm is really one of my favorite X-Men out there, and it's a character that I truly can't wait to see in the MCU. I hope they do her justice because she absolutely deserves it. I've always loved Storm because this is a woman. And what I mean by that is this is a strong-willed woman. You know, she is just, I mean, yeah, she has her fears, right? But when it comes to just outright coming out and being brave, she's all there. She's an amazing character. I mean, this is a character that, you know, hooked up with Black Panther, right? But honestly, before anything with Black Panther, I always loved her. I always thought she was just such a cool character and really just such a beautiful character. Storm's amazing. I just love her to death. Okay, so here we are with another waifu. So you notice we had Jubilee, we had Storm, right? And by the way, Storm was another character from that X-Men cartoon. Man, she's just so awesome. And then we have Rogue. Now, Rogue is the Southern Belle. And I, you know, guys, I'm a real softie for Southern Belles. I can't help it. I'm from the state of Missouri, and I just, I love Southern Belles. You got that Southern twang going on, and I just love it, man. I just love hearing that accent. And Rogue is that girl. Rogue's just spunky, feisty, but has a heart of gold, right? And in the X-Men cartoon show, she just, every time she was on the scene, every time she showed up in the cartoon, I was like, oh, it's my girl, man. I hope I grow up and get married to a woman like this. I know. She can take you and pretty much kill you by touching you. I know. But you know what? I would sacrifice it for Rogue. I wouldn't really give a damn. One kiss for that girl will be all I need. And yes, I know she's fake, but we're having fun here, okay? Then we get into Juggernaut. Yeah, that's right. Juggernaut's up on this list. And Juggernaut is, he's like a Hulk type character. Kane Marco's been in comics forever. This guy's been in comics forever. And again, from the X-Men cartoon, he made a few appearances on that cartoon, and I just loved him. I just laughed so hard whenever he showed up because, he's a really traumatized individual from his past, from a young age, but he hides it with his kind of wacky humor, almost like Deadpool, but not to that extreme. And he's just a bad mofo, right? I mean, this is a character that fights all the X-Men at once, no problem. And the only way they could ever beat him is by taking off that helmet and Xavier controlling his mind. I mean, that's the only way. Physically, they couldn't do it. They could not fight this character. He's just, I just love him. I always hated the fact that they made him a mutant, right? Because he isn't one. He never was a mutant. His powers come from the Ruby of Sidorak, right? So he doesn't, his powers come from magic. He even says it in one of his videos. My power comes from magic, right? It's just, he's just such a cool dude. I love him to death. Now we get into Mags, good old Magneto. And this is this guy is one of the best villains in all of Marvel, in my opinion, because he's a complex villain. Now, I've always gravitated toward villains that are just ruthless and villainous, but, Magneto is a villain that, from the mutant perspective, you can just understand where he's coming from, right? Humans are scared of them, they're afraid of them. What he went through when he was younger, all the trauma he went through, it really molded him into the character that he is. But he still has a heart. He still cares about mutants, but he'll do anything to protect them, to make sure they're safe, even if it requires, going after another mutant. I mean, the guy's just insane. He's on that level of Xavier when it comes to just, coolness, but in the villain world, right? Magneto is just one of those characters. Whenever he shows up on screen, you're just hooked. You're just hooked on this character. And then, you know it. This one had to come. Doom. That's right. Doom is easily one of my favorite villains in all of Marvel. I freaking love this character. Love him to death. He is so amazing. And really, this list was so hard because there's so many characters that I love so much. But Doom is very special because he is, the only way this guy ever loses a fight is because of his arrogance. Like, he always wins. This guy's taken power, literally taken power from gods. He's manipulated them and screwed them over so bad. He ended up taking their power, and the only way he would lose is by his own arrogance, right? To me, that's the epitome of a villain. It just is. Like, totally badass. Just nothing can stop him. except for their own self, right? Their own self problems, which is pretty cool. And then number one, guys, and this is going to be a sad one for a lot of you, but it is Wolverine. That's right. And I say it's sad because Wolverine's trash in this game, which is unfortunate. And Wolverine, I don't think it would come to a surprise that he would be number one for me. Because, I mean, he's the first time he showed up was in a Hulk comic book. That was the first time he ever showed up. That was the first appearance he ever made. And, he's always had this rivalry with the Hulk, which is always pretty funny because, Hulk really is just overpowered compared to Wolverine. But Wolverine just keeps on coming, just keeps on coming. And I really relate to the whole never giving up thing. Whenever you're facing adversity, you just keep overcoming it and overcoming it. And that's something that Wolverine has. Nothing will stop him. He will just keep going and going and going and going until he just can't go no more. The guy is just indestructible as far as his will, right? And he has an indomitable will. It's just nuts. I just love this guy so much. Wolverine, plus he's just badass, right? And the claws come climbing out. You're just like, oh my God, he's just insanely awesome. And hopefully one day Netmarble will make this character amazing in this game again, like what he was when he first appeared in the game. And I know there's plenty of other characters that have not shown up in the MCU that are amazing on this list, but these were my top 10. Let me know in the comments what your top 10 are. And I do stream on Twitch at Reset. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.